The things I have seen online for this are crazy to me. People are getting angry that she was cast as a black girl. And if you were getting mad about this and commenting on this, first off, she's a child. And second, if you look at the source material, it was implied that she was black. So, I did not expect to wake up to 21 new castings for the HBO Harry Potter TV show. We got pretty much every single Hogwarts student, many of which didn't even show up in book 1, but who appear to be in season 1. We got all of the Ravenclaws, all of the Slytherins, all of the Hufflepuffs, and all of the Gryffindors, which I'm very excited to talk about. Unfortunately though, one of the things that I feel like I need to talk about are people hating on these castings and these kids because they say that they were race swapped. And I must say that the people saying that are woefully ignorant and have never looked at the actual books, because everything that they're saying is completely wrong. So I'm going to spend a decent amount of time in this video talking about what these characters look like in the books and what their actors look like. This includes their skin color, their hair, their body type, and anything else that comes up. As one of the biggest Harry Potter content creators, I feel like I need to address all of the hate that's coming because it's absolutely disrespectful and has gotten way out of hand. I know that the Snape casting was a very obvious race swap, but honestly, every other casting that we've gotten so far is actually really good. Just to give you guys a quick table of contents of what will be in this video, I'm going to go through each character one by one, go over their actor, react to how they look, which I said before, explain their role in the books, talk about what books they actually appear in, and I'll also talk about what these characters looked like in the movies. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and sharing. It will greatly help to grow and sustain the channel. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, and you can also follow me on all of my other social media pages, all of which are linked down below, and all of which house similar content that I make here on this channel. Now, let's get into it. So first, let's take a look at the Slytherins. And honestly, dude, this group of Slytherins looks really intimidating, which I really like. So right here, we have Miles Bletchley. As you can see, he is cast as black. And this is fine because in the book, there is no description of what he looks like at all. In the movie though, he was white. Miles in the book was the keeper for the Slytherin Quidditch team, and he does appear in the first novel, and he also appears in book 3 and book 5, but that's it. And the name of the actor is Edison Birch. Then we have Lucian Bull right next to him, and he is another member of the Slytherin Quidditch team, and he is a beater. And interestingly, he does not actually appear in book 1. He doesn't make an appearance until book 3 and also appears in book 5. Once again, in the book, there is no description of what he looks like, but they have cast him as a white kid. And the name of the actor for Lucian Bull is James Dowell. Then playing Marcus Flint is the actor Bull Oliver. And dude, he looks very intimidating, and I really like that because Marcus Flint, his whole thing is being intimidating, and he's actually described as tall and muscular. He was of course very intimidating in the movies, and he was also white there. But in the book, there is no description of him besides being tall and muscular. Again, his race is not mentioned. So Flint does appear in the first book, and he also appears in the second and third book, but he never appears after that. I assume that's because he graduated. After that, we have Adrian Pusey, and he is played by Dylan Heath. He was a chaser on the Slytherin Quidditch team, and honestly, I feel like he looks more like a beater. He's got that strong look to him that you often associate with beaters. Chasers are normally much skinnier and faster, and the movie's depiction of him is more like that, and as you can see, the movie cast him as white. Adrian Pusey is another one that does appear in book 1, and he also appears in book 2, 3, and 5. After that is Henry Medhurst as Peregrine Derrick, and he is pictured right here. Peregrine actually does not appear in the first book. He doesn't make his first appearance until book 3, and then is also mentioned in book 5. And he has no description in the book, and he is actually the only person that we are going to go over today that doesn't have a picture of him either in the movie, a video game, or a toy. So they pretty much had full range, and as you can see, they cast him as white. Then we have Cornelius Brandreth as Terrence Higgs right here. So Terrence Higgs is the seeker for the Slytherin Quidditch team, and he did have a pretty significant role in the first movie because he was the seeker that went up against Harry. As you can see, he is white, and again in the show he is also going to be white. And this is fine because once again in the book, there is no description of his physical features. After that, we have a much larger character, and that is Layla Barwick as Pansy Parkinson. So she is pictured right here, and I love her jacket with the white and green colors, the Slytherin colors. So Pansy does appear in book 1, and she also appears in book 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So every book except for book 2. She's Draco's sort of girlfriend that I think he kind of strings along, but she's part of the main bully Slytherin group in Harry's year. And she does have a description in the book. Harry describes her as having a pug face. Meanwhile, Rita Skeeter describes her in an article saying that she is pretty. So we have two pretty biased descriptions of her on both sides. But in the book, surprisingly, it does not mention her race. And we have a better picture of her right here. And dude, yeah, she looks good. She looks how I would picture Pansy Parkinson. And looking at the movie, Pansy was actually played by 3 different actresses throughout the 8 movies. And pictured here are 2 of them, and both of them were cast as white. And the last Slytherin casting that we have is for Graham Montague, and he is played by D'Angelo Osei Kisiadu. Osei Kisiadu? I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced it. And he is cast as a black kid who looks really good. And him being black is not a big deal, even though I've seen people being mad about this, saying that that's not how they pictured Graham Montague. And in the video game, he was white, which yeah, he was. But in the book, there is no description of his race. The only description that we get is that he was large, muscular, and more so than Crabbe and Goyle, and also that he had hairy arms. But he was part of the Slytherin Quidditch team, and he was also part of Umbridge's Inquisitorial Squad. And most notably, he was pushed into the Vanishing Cabinet by the twins, and honestly, he almost died, which is kind of crazy. But that happening to Graham was what made Draco realize that he could use the Vanishing Cabinets in the next book, which he of course used to get all of the Death Eaters into Hogwarts. And Graham actually does not appear in book 1. He doesn't come in until book 3, and he is also in book 5 and book 6. Okay, now let's look at the Ravenclaw castings. So first up, we have Aaron Zhao, who is playing Terry Bood. Dude, he looks so sweet. So Terry was part of the DA, and he also fought in the Battle of Hogwarts. And he does appear in book 1, and he also appears in book 2, 5, 6, and 7. So every book except book 3 and book 4. And as you can see, he is cast as Asian, and I've seen people getting mad about this too, which is so dumb, dude, because again, he has no description in the book. Yes, he was white in the video game, but who gives a crap? This is all about the source material, the 7 books. Moving on though, we have Ease Walls as Lisa Turpin, and she looks so sweet as well, dude. And I know many of you might be like, who the heck is Lisa Turpin? She actually only has 1 mention in the entire series, and it was in book 1 during the sorting ceremony. That's it. That's all she has. So obviously with that 1 small mention, she has no physical description. Then we have Scarlett Archer as Penelope Clearwater. And she's obviously a lot taller, which is good because in the book, she was a lot older than the 3 other kids that we're going over. And she had a bigger role because she was actually the girlfriend of Percy Weasley. She was also made a prefect in book 2, and she was one of the students petrified. But she does not appear in book 1. Her first appearance is in book 2, and then she's in book 3, and she is only mentioned in book 7. And her description in the book is that she has long curly hair, which obviously this actress does not have. She has pretty straight hair, which is not a big deal to me. And in the movie, she didn't have curly hair either. And then we have Padma Patil, played by Anjula Murali. Again, I hope I pronounced that right. I'm so sorry if I didn't. And it's exciting seeing her with the Ravenclaw cast, because in the movie, they made her a Gryffindor, and also made her be best friends with her sister Parvati, which completely pushed aside Lavender Brown, which I always thought was pretty disappointing because Parvati and Lavender are best friends and a major part of the Gryffindor group. In the book, Padma is described to be Indian, and she also has dark eyes and long dark hair. And Dean Thomas also mentioned that she, along with her twin sister, were the best looking girls in their year. But one thing that we need to talk about is the fact that Parvati and Padma are twins in the books, which was not the case in the movies, and it looks like once again in this show, they are also not going to be twins. So a while back, like months ago, Parvati was cast, and she is being played by Alessia Leone. And you can see her pictured here, and it looks like she is Indian. There was a lot of debate online about her race, which, dude, just blows my freaking mind. Like, these are children, calm down. To me, she looks Indian, which is all that really matters. But yeah, the big thing is that these sisters look very different. But Padma being cast this early makes sense because she did appear in book 1. And she was also in book 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, so every book except for book 2. But she famously went to the Yule Ball with Ron Weasley, she also joined the DA, and she also fought in the Battle of Hogwarts, so she has a pretty major role in the series. Okay, now moving on to the Hufflepuffs. All of these kids look so young, like way younger than all of the other castings, which is interesting. But first we have India Moon as Hannah Abbott. And I think she's actually wearing a Hufflepuff sweatshirt, which is pretty cool. But Hannah has a pretty major role in the series. First off, she's in Harry's year. She believed that he opened the Chamber of Secrets. She also thought that in The Prisoner of Azkaban, Sirius Black, who at that time was thought to be a murderer, could turn into a shrub to make sure he didn't get caught. She also wore a Support Cedric Diggory badge. She became a prefect, joined the DA, and her mother was murdered in book 6. She was pulled out of class and told that, which really showed how bad things had gotten at that point in the series. But on top of that, she also fought in the Battle of Hogwarts, and later on in deeper Harry Potter lore, we learn that she and Neville Longbottom get married, and she later goes on to be the landlady of the Leaky Cauldron. So I would imagine with them knowing all of that wasn't released until after the series ended, they might make her role a little bit bigger and might actually give her scenes with Neville, which I think would be really fun. And she did appear in book 1 and also every other book, book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Her only description is that she had blonde hair and wore pigtails. Obviously this actress has brown hair, but that's not a big deal, and they can easily put pigtails in there. But for Hannah Abbott in the movie, she did have blonde hair. But then we have Jasmine Lewin, who was playing Susan Bones. And dude, the things I have seen online for this are crazy to me. People are getting angry that she was cast as a black girl. And if you were getting mad about this and commenting on this, first off, she's a child, and second, if you look at the source material, it was implied that she was black. The book's description of her physical appearance says this: she wore her hair in a long plait down her back. And if you just do a simple Google search, if you look up plait hair, it literally says it has historical origins in African culture. So clearly, yes, she is black. And dude, this actress looks so sweet. But in the book, she was noted to have a crush on Lockhart in book 2, and she also joined the DA. And in the movie, she fought in the Battle of Hogwarts, but that was not the case in the book. She was actually never mentioned in the 7th book. But her family is one of the most interesting things about her. Her uncle Edgar was part of the original order, and he, his wife, and children were all murdered by Death Eaters during the First Wizarding War. And then her aunt, Amelia Bones, was personally murdered by Lord Voldemort in the Second Wizarding War. And though she doesn't appear in book 7, she does appear in book 1, 5, and 6. In the movie, she was cast as a white girl with red hair, and funnily enough, this is actually Chris Columbus's daughter, and Chris Columbus was the director of the first 2 movies, so it's cool that he was able to have his daughter in there. And then we have the actor Kean Eagle Service, what a cool name, and he's playing Ernie Macmillan. And he is pictured right here, and he looks like another sweet kid. So in the book, he was kind of the instigator of saying that Harry opened the Chamber of Secrets, telling this to Hannah Abbott and many of the other Hufflepuff students. Then in book 4, he wore a Support Cedric Diggory badge. In book 5, he became a prefect, and during that same year, he also joined the DA. And in the 7th book, he fought in the Battle of Hogwarts, and actually had a pretty large role as he, along with Seamus and Luna, saved the trio from Dementors. This was a moment given to Aberforth Dumbledore in the movie, but yeah, in the book, it was a really cool moment with Luna, Seamus, and Ernie. But him being cast this early is noteworthy because he doesn't actually appear in book 1. He is in book 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, so all but the first book. And his physical description in the book is that he has blonde hair and that he was stout looking, which means that he was probably fat. Obviously, this actor has neither of those traits, but yeah, he's a smaller character. I don't really think that matters. In the movie though, they did cast a white kid with blonde hair. And then we have James Trevelyan Buckle as Justin Finch Fletchley, and dude, he looks so sweet. So the only thing that they mention about Justin's physical appearance in the book is that he had curly hair. Which obviously this actor does not, but I think that's fine. He's another minor character, so it doesn't really matter that much. And he did not have curly hair in the movie either, so. And now, moving on to the Gryffindors, we actually have 5 castings for this. So first up, we have Erie Farrell, who was playing Katie Bell, and here's a better picture of her. So she was white in the movie, but this is going to surprise some people, I think, because it kind of surprised me. Katie Bell, even though she's the only member of the Gryffindor Quidditch team to appear in all 7 books, actually has no physical description in any of the novels. But obviously her main role was being on the Gryffindor Quidditch team as a chaser, and she was also part of the DA. She got cursed by the necklace and the Half-Blood Prince, and she came back to school for the Battle of Hogwarts because she actually graduated in the Half-Blood Prince. So she and the rest of the Gryffindor team came back to Hogsmeade and then came through the Hog's Head. Then we have Angelina Johnson, and she is played by Asha Sotin. And she is actually the only member of the Gryffindor Quidditch team to have a physical description in the novels. She was described to be tall, had dark skin, brown eyes, and long black braided hair. And it was also said that she was attractive. And crazily, Pansy Parkinson said that her hair looked like worms, which is incredibly racist. My God. But like Katie, her main role was being on the Gryffindor Quidditch team as a chaser, but she also went to the Yule Ball with Fred. She started dating Fred. She became captain of the Quidditch team in book 5. She joined the DA, fought in the Battle of Hogwarts, and in deeper Harry Potter lore, she actually married George, even though she had dated Fred, which I think is really weird and really unhealthy. But she appeared in book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. The only book she didn't appear in was book 6. But obviously, they cast a black actress, which is great. I love it. And the movie's got this right as well. Then up next, we have Oliver Wood, and he's played by Orson Matthews. So as I said, Angelina Johnson was the only member of the Gryffindor Quidditch team who had a physical description, and I'm actually going to go back on that. I meant that she was the only one that had a race defined to her. Oliver does have a physical description, which was just that he was built and burly, but it never mentions his skin color. But obviously he was white in the movie, and I remember when the movies were coming out, and even after, all these girls just obsessed over Oliver. And it looks like we have another good looking guy playing him, so that's good. But yeah, most of you know his story in the book. He was the captain of the Gryffindor Quidditch team for books 1, 2, and 3. And then he saw Harry at the Quidditch World Cup and told him that he was part of the Puddlemere United's reserve team. And he came back to fight in the Battle of Hogwarts. But Wood appeared in book 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7, and was mentioned in book 5 and 6, but I don't really count that. Then Serana Suling Bliss was cast as Alicia Spinnet. And I've seen a lot of people get mad about this one too because she's Asian, which, dude, it's honestly pissing me off at this point. But I feel like so many people that commented on this are just so ill-informed and so ignorant because she has no description at all. There's nothing said about her face, her body, her skin color, nothing. So her being Asian is absolutely fine. And she was probably chosen because she was the best actress for the job. She appeared in book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7, and she had a slight mention in book 6, which again, I don't really count. But her story in the book is very similar to Katie and Angelina. She was a Gryffindor chaser, she joined the DA, and she graduated after the Order of the Phoenix, but then came back in book 7 to fight in the Battle of Hogwarts. And in the movie, she was actually cast as a black actress. And finally, we have Lee Jordan, and he's being played by Ethan Smith. Lee Jordan is a character who is very clearly stated to be black. He is described to be a black boy with black hair and dreadlocks. And he was black in the movie as well. And I'm really excited about this casting because I feel like he was sort of shoved aside in the movies because he is always there with Fred and George. Pretty much all of the Fred and George scenes, Lee Jordan is right next to them. We saw him be the Quidditch commentator in the movie, well, for just one movie. And he also joined the DA, and he was the radio host for Potter Watch, which was the radio station and show for the rebels when Voldemort took over the ministry. But he appeared in book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7, and was mentioned in book 6. And that is all of the 21 castings that we got for Hogwarts Students. I think that all of these castings are really good, and I feel like people are just blowing it out of proportion saying that they're race swapping when they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. But drop your comments below and let me know what you guys are thinking about this. I have a whole playlist right here for all of the HBO videos that I made so far. And over here, I have a fun video that I made, which was 50 random Harry Potter lore facts. And that's things that you wouldn't know if you didn't read the books. I think that's a fun one. That's all I have for you guys today though. Thank you so much for watching.